Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bar Chord Masterclass. This is the lesson where we're going to put all the individual pieces we've been working on together to play your first bar chord shape, full bar chord, and that's the E-shaped bar chord. So I have a question for you, Chelsea.
What's that?
When you first learned bar chords, was it hard for you? Was it a little bit easier for you? How did that go about?
That's something I really struggled with, and I think I even have had to kind of keep working on it over the years. Like, it wasn't something that I just got once and then had it, but it was something that, I learned a new bar chord shape, so then it was like, I have to keep working at this again.
I was a little bit luckier in this regard. I had an easier time learning bar chords, and that's not because of anything that I did. It's because I had a really good teacher initially. It was my dad. He showed me how to do bar chords. Like the first week I learned how to play guitar, and he is such a big personality that it kind of transferred to me easier than most people, but it's still quite physical, and it took a while to get the strength down and apply what he told me to. So the reason I say that is if you don't get this right away as we go through this, don't feel like you're special in that regard, like I just can't do it. You're special in the regard that you're yourself, but it takes everyone a different amount of time to learn this. It could take you a day, it could take you 2 weeks, it could take you 2 months to get this one bar chord shape down. And just keep going with it. If you feel discouraged, keep the consistent practice up and it will come for you.
Now, you've already put a lot of work into the two pieces of the puzzle. We have the bar itself, and then we have the shape, the chord shape. So now we're going to put them together.
And let's make a G major chord using the E shape. And the first step to doing this is to just get your 3 fingers on, 2, 3, and 4, playing that E, open E major chord shape. And what we're going to do is slide that up 3 frets, so 1, 2, 3. And then since we slid it up 3 frets, our finger is going to act like a movable nut of the guitar, like a capo. So what we have to do is go 1, 2, 3, and our bar is going to be on the 3rd fret since we slid the shape up 3 frets. So that's what you have to do. And that ends up putting your 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the A string, 4th finger on the 5th fret of the D string, middle finger, 4th fret of the G string, and then your bar will be across all 6 strings there.
And if you're having trouble with this, then make sure to refer back to our clean bar checklist. And remember tips like placing your finger right behind the fret.
Right, and then going back, leaning back or tilting back to the bony edge of your finger is another big one. And these are the types of things you're going to want to go over that list as you make the chord. Put the bar chord on, and then strum each individual string. If you hear this, check your bar, check your fingers, and just go through that list. Finger right behind the fret, tilt your finger back, elbow in, don't kick your wrist too far one way or the other. And it is going to take some time to build up the strength in this muscle. It just is. Like I said, I think I mentioned earlier, this muscle is twice as big as the one on this hand. So that tells you that it's just like working out. It's going to take some time for you to get this down and really build it up.
That's why practicing multiple times a day is so important. You can take that 20 minutes, 30 minutes, hour, whatever you had, and break it up into smaller chunks so that your hand has a chance to take a break in between all this hard work.
Yeah, it's like recovering after doing a really strenuous workout or something. So that's really all there is to this lesson. It's just a matter of you sitting down with your guitar and going through the crucible or the gauntlet with it. So get your guitar if you can right now. And we'll get to the assignments in a little bit, but literally this is all you have to do for this lesson is work on getting that bar and putting it on. Once you get it on, check all 6 strings, make sure it's clean. If not, make adjustments you need, and then take it off. And one thing that really helps me is this cross-training method I have where I put the bar on first and then the shape. And then I take it off and then put the shape first on and then the bar. Because what's probably going to happen to most of you is when you put the shape on, you're going to end up doing it 1 finger at a time anyways. And what you want to do is not be doing, have the same finger come on last every time, the lagger or whatever it was. Whichever finger you lag with, whichever one is last on, make it the first on next time. And that'll help kind of cross-train bar shape, bar. And the ultimate goal here is going to be to get to where you can go entire shape on at once. And that will take a while. It could take a few days, it could take you a few weeks, it could take you a couple months.
How about we do that G bar chord a few more times?
Yep, cool. And you're going to notice that you can only work on this for 3 to 5 minutes at a time. Your hands just gonna get tired. And that's where practicing multiple times a day is gonna come in really handy, like Chelsea said. Make the adjustments. Clamp, thumb and index finger. Bar right behind the fret. If you need to go back and review that clean bar checklist or the clean chord tips and guitar foundations for your open chords for this part of it, then do that too. But this is exactly how you want to practice this 3 to 5 minutes a day, multiple times a day, 2, 3, 4 times a day if you can. That would really help.
You might be wondering why we're calling this a G chord. Where is that name coming from? And so basically, the root note of an E chord is in the low E string. So when we push it up 3 frets and put our bar on, then our lowest note is now a G, and that's where we're getting we call it the root note.
Right, and we'll get into this more later on in the next lesson, actually, when we start going over the names of the notes on the low E string. But for now, just realize that the root note of a chord is the foundation on which that chord is built. Like an E major chord has an E root note, G major chord has a G root note, and in this particular shape, this open E, the lowest root note, like Chelsea said, is the low E string. So wherever that lowest root note ends up being, G gives that chord its name, G major, E shape.
Well, that's it for this lesson. Here are your assignments. Number 1, practice making the G major chord using the E major bar chord shape. 2, incorporate the clean bar checklist to help clean up any buzzing. 3, cross-train using the bar shape bar method. And 4, practice multiple times per day if possible.
Okay, this is like the really critical step, and if you've done all the work that we've told you on the individual pieces up to this point, it should be a lot easier for you than if you jumped in cold. I'm not saying it's easy. It does take work. But if you've been working on the bar on its own and the shape on its own, then putting them together is going to be a little bit easier for you. So keep us posted. If you have any questions or any areas that are kind of giving you trouble, leave a comment below. Ask us a question, email us support@guitarfam.com or go to guitarfam.com if you've created your complimentary account and leave a question or discussion or some tips in the forum.
Thanks for joining us in this lesson. The next lesson, we're going to learn how to move this shape up and down the fretboard so that you can play literally any major chord you want to play.